As we journey back roughly 200 million years into deep time, we find ourselves in a world vastly different from our own, yet brimming with the promise of new life and sweeping transformations. This era is the Early Jurassic, a period that marks a profound chapter in Earth's narrative, a time of recovery, renewal, and change after the turbulent and often harsh conditions of the late Triassic. The Triassic period, which preceded the Jurassic, was itself a time of great upheaval in the natural world. It witnessed the very beginnings of the dinosaurs, as well as their first tentative steps towards dominance, but it ended amid significant environmental disruptions. These disruptions included volcanic activity, shifting climates, and one of Earth's several mass extinction events. This mass extinction, occurring around 201 million years ago, wiped out a considerable portion of life on land and in the oceans, making way for a new ecological order to emerge during the Jurassic. The world of the early Jurassic is fascinating because it serves as a bridge, a transitional landscape where the Earth's battered ecosystems began to rebuild and flourish anew. It was a period that set the stage for dinosaurs to evolve into the diverse, dominant creatures that many of us recognize from popular culture and paleontological discoveries. Imagine standing on the surface of early Jurassic Earth. The supercontinent known as Pangaea, which had been fully assembled during the late Paleozoic, was beginning to show signs of fragmentation. This slowly breaking apart of the landmass would profoundly influence climate patterns, sea levels, and habitats. The gradual rifting initiated the formation of new coastlines, incipient ocean basins, and vast inland seas. The climate during the early Jurassic was generally warmer than today, with no polar ice caps, and atmospheric carbon dioxide levels were elevated. This created a lush environment that fostered the growth of dense forests dominated by gymnosperms, plants like conifers, cycads, and ginkgos. These flora provided essential habitats and food sources for early dinosaurs, as well as other contemporary life forms. It is important to appreciate that the ecosystems of this time were still in their adolescent stages. Ecosystems needed to recover from the previous extinction, yet new relationships among species were swiftly taking shape. Early Jurassic fauna included not just nascent dinosaurs, but also amphibians, primitive crocodilians, early mammals, and a diverse array of marine reptiles. Each group was adapting and evolving in a world that was very much a work in progress. This period saw the rise of the first true dinosaurs to achieve significant diversity and dominance. In the shadows of their Triassic ancestors, these creatures would soon expand into a wide range of forms, from lumbering herbivores to agile predators, taking advantage of the new niches available in this recovering world. On land, vast fern prairies and forested swamps stretched as far as the eye could see. Volcanoes remained active in some regions, periodically releasing ash and gases that influenced local climates and terrains. These volcanic activities contributed nutrients to the soil, indirectly supporting the abundant plant life that, in turn, fueled the herbivorous dinosaurs and their predators. Meanwhile, the seas were beginning to regain their diversity too. Marine reptiles such as ichthyosaurs and plesiosaurs thrived in the early Jurassic oceans. Coral reefs began to rebound after previous decimation, and ammonites, spiral-shelled cephalopods, multiplied and evolved. These marine ecosystems were closely intertwined with terrestrial ones, as the cycles of life and nutrient flows spanned the boundaries of land and sea. The atmosphere over early Jurassic Earth was thick with unfamiliar sounds. The calls of primitive crocodilomorphs echoed through the wetlands, while early dinosaurs prowled and grazed, the beating of their massive feet causing faint tremors in the soil. Insects, some ancestors of our modern species, buzzed amidst the ferns and conifers, playing their role in pollination and decomposition. One of the defining features of this era was the gradual but relentless march of evolution. The early Jurassic was not just a time of static recovery, but one of innovation and experimentation in form and function. Dinosaurs developed new body plans, refined their locomotion, and specialized their diets, setting the stage for their eminent position later in the Mesozoic. Moreover, this era gave rise to new patterns in ecosystems. Early Jurassic food chains were becoming more complex, with specialized herbivores and carnivores occupying distinct niches. This complexity illustrates the dynamic balance of predator-prey relationships and the beginnings of social behaviors that would characterize some dinosaur species. The early Jurassic world also showcased Earth's resilient capacity to rebound from catastrophic environmental stress. It is a powerful reminder of the cyclical nature of life on our planet. Species rise, ecosystems transform, and life continually adapts to the changing rhythms of Earth. As we reflect on this fascinating period, we begin to understand that the early Jurassic was much more than a mere aftermath. It was a fresh genesis. The groundwork laid during these tens of millions of years shaped the trajectory of life that would flourish through the Middle and Late Jurassic, ultimately leading to some of the most iconic and colossal dinosaurs ever discovered. Our journey through Jurassic survival will unfold from this foundational era, exploring the forces that shaped the planet and the remarkable creatures that inhabited it. The early Jurassic imparts profound stories of resilience, diversity, and the ever-changing dance between life and Earth's shifting canvas. Stories that captivate our imagination and deepen our appreciation for the long history of our planet. Around the dawn of the Jurassic period, approximately 201 million years ago, the Earth's continents were not scattered across the globe as we see them today. Instead, much of the world's landmass was fused into a colossal supercontinent known as Pangaea. This vast expanse of land had profound effects on the climate, ecosystems, and evolutionary pathways of life on Earth. To understand the life and struggles of dinosaurs during the Jurassic, it's essential to delve into the story of continental drift and the formation of Pangaea, a dynamic geological drama that set the stage for an extraordinary era. Pangaea, meaning all lands, was the culmination of a long process that began in the late Paleozoic and continued into the early Mesozoic eras. Before the supercontinent's full assembly, the Earth's continents existed in various configurations, gradually moving and colliding as a result of plate tectonics. The slow but powerful movement of enormous lithospheric plates resting on the more fluid asthenosphere beneath. This process is driven by the Earth's internal heat engine, where convection currents circulate molten rock in the mantle, pushing and pulling the crustal plates atop it. Massive geological forces create rifts, mountain ranges, ocean basins, and the ever-evolving geography of the planet. During the Permian period, these motions culminated in the aggregation of nearly all continental blocks into Pangaea. By the start of the Jurassic, the supercontinent was a dominant physical presence, sprawling nearly from pole to pole. Pangaea was shaped like a giant sea, featuring a vast interior expanse far removed from marine moisture and edged by extensive coastlines. Its interior, often compared to the arid heart of a desert, was a land of harsh climatic extremes. Hot, dry summers and bitterly cold winters, due largely to its immense size and the lack of moderating influence from nearby oceans. These continental conditions had significant implications for the flora and fauna that inhabited the land. While Pangaea presented a seemingly unified landmass, it was not a static feature. Early Jurassic Earth was shaped by the slow but relentless movements that began to fragment this gigantic land complex. Around this time, the initial rifting of Pangaea commenced, especially along its eastern margins. This early phase of breakup eventually marked the first steps toward the configuration of the modern continents. In particular, the division of Pangaea into two major land masses, Laurasia in the north and Gondwana in the south, gradually unfolded. This rift created the Proto-Atlantic Ocean, a nascent seaway that began to separate land areas and shape climatic and oceanic circulation patterns. The rifting was not a sudden process, but one that stretched over millions of years, with continental fragments beginning to drift away at slow but inexorable paces. The process of continental drift had significant consequences for ocean basins and sea levels. As the supercontinent began to fragment, new coastlines emerged, inland seas formed, and the shallow epicontinental seas expanded. These changes allowed marine ecosystems to diversify and spread, supporting the proliferation of marine reptiles, ammonites, and other oceanic life forms characteristic of the Jurassic. Geological evidence reveals that Pangaea's fragmentation also influenced volcanic activity. Rift zones became sites of volcanic eruptions and magma flows, depositing layers of basaltic rock that would shape future landscapes. Volcanism released substantial volumes of gases, such as carbon dioxide, into the atmosphere, contributing to the greenhouse conditions of the Jurassic climate. The geologic upheaval accompanying continental drift also transformed habitats. As landmasses drifted, climates shifted. Some regions became wetter, allowing forests and vegetation to thrive, while others remained arid and sparse. This diversification of habitats broadened the ecological niches available to emerging dinosaur species and other contemporaneous life forms. Pangaea's existence enabled dinosaur populations to disperse widely across the supercontinent. Fossil evidence indicates that similar dinosaur genera appeared in regions that would later become vastly distant. This pancontinental distribution suggests land routes for migration, hunting, and colonization, which facilitated genetic diversification and evolutionary experimentation. The expansive habitats within Pangaea contrast with later periods when continents were more isolated, leading to more regionalized dinosaur faunas. However, the immense size of Pangaea came with ecological challenges. The interior continental regions experienced extreme dryness due to distance from oceanic moisture, creating deserts and semi-arid zones where life was sparse and adapted to survive under harsh conditions. These environments likely acted as barriers to some kinds of species dispersal and influenced the evolutionary pressures on drought-resilient plants and animals. As Pangaea slowly unraveled throughout the Jurassic, trending towards the middle and late phases of the period, the environmental mosaic became increasingly complex. The breakup stimulated diversification, speciation, and the emergence of new evolutionary pathways. It set the planet on a course of changing ocean currents, climate zones, and isolated land masses that would, in later periods, give rise to the famous regional dinosaur faunas known to paleontologists. In this way, continental drift and the formation and eventual fragmentation of Pangaea were not mere geological phenomena, but fundamental driving forces shaping the life and struggles of dinosaurs. The shifting continents dictated migration corridors, climatic regimes, and habitat availability, compelling dinosaurs and their contemporaries to adapt in diverse ways. As we move forward in our exploration of the Jurassic world, we will see how this changing geography interacted intimately with climate systems. Together, they crafted the environments where dinosaurs evolved, thrived, and faced the endless challenges of survival. This grand geological ballet continues to remind us of Earth's restless nature, its capacity for transformation, and the intertwined destiny of land and life. As we delve deeper into the Jurassic period, a span of time lasting approximately 56 million years from about 201 to 145 million years ago, we encounter a planet undergoing profound climatic and environmental transformations. This era hosted some of the most iconic dinosaur species. But to fully comprehend their lives and struggles, we must first understand the climates and environments in which they lived. The Jurassic was a time of relatively warm temperatures, shifting habitats, and diverse ecological settings, all of which played pivotal roles in shaping dinosaur evolution and survival strategies. Following the end Triassic extinction event, the early Jurassic climate shifted to a more consistently warm regime. Unlike the late Triasic's harsh fluctuations, global temperatures during the Jurassic remained elevated, with little to no polar ice caps. Geological and isotopic evidence suggest that average global temperatures were significantly warmer than today, possibly by 5 to 10 degrees Celsius. The greenhouse atmosphere, enriched with higher levels of carbon dioxide, probably contributed by ongoing volcanic activity associated with rifting landmasses, helped maintain these warm conditions. The warm, largely humid climate of the Jurassic resulted in flourishing plant life, ranging from vast conifer forests and dense fern prairies to swampy wetlands that blanketed much of the terrestrial landscape. Unlike the flowering plants that would dominate later eras, Jurassic vegetation was dominated by gymnosperms, cone-bearing trees such as pines and cycads, and the sprawling foliage of horsetails and giant ferns. These plants were fundamental to Jurassic ecosystems, providing the foundation for the food webs that sustained large herbivorous dinosaurs. Though the overall climate was warmer and more stable, regional variations existed. The supercontinent Pangaea, which was beginning to fragment, influenced local climates. The vast continental interiors were often marked by seasonally arid conditions and desert regions, due to their distance from the moderating effects of the ocean. Meanwhile, coastal areas and emerging inland seas enjoyed more humid conditions with plentiful rainfall, fostering lush environments. Marine environments during the Jurassic were equally vibrant. The seas teemed with life, including an array of marine reptiles such as ichthyosaurs, plesiosaurs, and marine crocodilians. Coral reefs and ammonite populations flourished in the shallow epicontinental seas that had expanded due to rising sea levels. The interaction of terrestrial and marine climates reshaped the Earth's atmospheric circulation, impacting rainfall patterns and temperature gradients. One remarkable feature of Jurassic climate was the prevalence of monsoonal weather patterns in some regions. These seasonal winds brought alternating periods of heavy rain and relative dryness, influencing vegetation cycles and dinosaur behaviors, especially among herbivores that relied heavily on available plant matter. Periodic wet seasons refreshed water sources, while dry seasons presented survival challenges. Swamps, river valleys, and coastal plains were common in many regions, creating complex and varied freshwater ecosystems. These watery habitats supported amphibians, fish, early crocodilian ancestors, and the dinosaurs themselves, who often congregated near water bodies to feed and hydrate. Floodplains rich in alluvial deposits fostered prolific vegetation growth, thus becoming ecological hotspots. Forests of towering conifers and cycads dominated Jurassic terrestrial landscapes. Such forests were often dense, but punctuated by open fern-covered areas. These varied structures provided niches for different dinosaur species, from the towering browsers of the canopy layers to smaller herbivorous and carnivorous species dwelling closer to the ground. Paleobotanical records indicate that Jurassic flora had begun diversifying in response to the climatic niches presented. For example, in drier areas, cycads and other drought-tolerant plants thrived, whereas wetter regions featured lush ferns and horsetails. This floral diversification contributed to the diversification of herbivorous dinosaurs, which adapted their feeding strategies, teeth morphology, and digestive systems to capitalize on available plant resources. In addition to these biomes, desert environments expanded in certain continental interiors, particularly during the Middle Jurassic. Sand dunes, sparse vegetation, and ephemeral water sources characterized these landscapes. Dinosaurs inhabiting these harsher environments evolved adaptations to conserve water, withstand heat, and survive on limited food, all traits that illustrate the wide ecological versatility of Jurassic life. Volcanism, a persistent feature during the Jurassic, periodically reshaped regional climates and habitats. Large volcanic eruptions released ash and gas, occasionally leading to brief cooling episodes or shifts in climate patterns. These events could disrupt local ecosystems temporarily, but they also played roles in soil enrichment by depositing minerals essential for plant growth. Throughout the Jurassic, fluctuating sea levels caused by tectonic activity and climatic changes created dynamic coastal and marine environments. Periods of transgression, when sea levels rose and flooded continental areas, expanded shallow seas and inland water bodies, offering new habitats for marine life and forming estuaries favorable to a diverse range of species. Conversely, regressions exposed land, allowing terrestrial ecosystems to expand. These changing environmental conditions spurred evolutionary responses among dinosaurs. Herbivores diversified feeding strategies depending on the type of plant communities available in their regional habitats, from high-browsing sauropods in forested areas to low-browsing ornithischians in fern-dominated plains. Carnivorous dinosaurs adapted hunting methods and locomotion to the terrain they frequented, whether open plains or forest understories. Furthermore, the patchwork of environments across the Jurassic fostered speciation and regional endemism. As habitats became more distinct due to climatic gradients and geology, populations of dinosaurs adapted locally, leading to the rich diversity observed in the fossil record. This environmental heterogeneity underpinned the evolutionary radiation of dinosaur clades, which would continue into the Cretaceous period. In summary, the Jurassic climate and environment constituted a warm, dynamic, and diverse tapestry of ecosystems. The interplay of elevated temperatures, high atmospheric carbon dioxide, tectonic movements, and fluctuating sea levels created a world abundant in plant and animal life, yet marked by regional contrasts and evolving challenges. Understanding these environmental patterns deepens our appreciation of dinosaurs' struggles and adaptations, from their physiology to their behaviors. Against this fluctuating climatic backdrop, they crafted lives of survival and success that still fascinate us millions of years later. As we move forward, we will explore how these climatic and environmental forces influenced dinosaur evolution, setting the stage for the spectacular diversification and giant forms that would come to typify the Jurassic Age. The Jurassic period stands as one of the most critical chapters in the evolutionary saga of dinosaurs. It was a time marked by extraordinary diversification, a biological blossoming where dinosaurs transformed from their earlier, more modest origins into a wide array of forms that would dominate terrestrial ecosystems for millions of years. To understand this diversification, we must journey through the complex tapestry of environmental conditions, adaptive innovations, and ecological dynamics that shaped dinosaur evolution during the Jurassic. With the close of the Triassic around 201 million years ago, the Earth's environments had endured a major extinction event that erased a significant proportion of species, setting the stage for new groups to rise. Dinosaurs, which had originated in the Middle to Late Triassic as relatively small and somewhat rare creatures, found themselves at an evolutionary crossroads in the early Jurassic. Freed from some competitive pressures and faced with newly available ecological niches, they embarked upon an astonishing phase of expansion and variation. During this epoch, dinosaurs began to proliferate in both number and diversity of forms. Theropods, the primarily carnivorous lineage that included the carnivorous giants to come, grew more conspicuous. Early theropods ranged from small, agile hunters to larger predators, gradually evolving anatomical adaptations for optimized hunting: sharper claws, more accurate binocular vision, and more efficient locomotion. This lineage set the foundation for future apex predators. On the other side of the trophic spectrum, herbivorous dinosaurs underwent significant evolutionary experimentation. Early Jurassic herbivores included primitive forms that grazed on the abundant cycads, ferns, and conifers dominating Jurassic landscapes. These dinosaurs began to diversify into various families, developing new ways to feed effectively on the tough Jurassic flora. Their teeth evolved to suit different diets. Some sharpened for stripping leaves and needles, others evolved, grinding surfaces able to break down fibrous plant material. The remarkable group of long-necked sauropodomorphs started the transition into the colossal sauropods, the giants of dinosaur lore. Early representatives, sometimes called prosauropods, exhibited relatively modest sizes when compared to their Jurassic descendants, yet they revealed the evolutionary trajectory towards gigantism. This scale imposed distinct biomechanical and ecological challenges, including high food intake demands and advanced respiratory and circulatory adaptations. Yet these giants would soon come to symbolize Jurassic terrestrial fauna. Another key lineage diversifying during the Jurassic was ornithischians, the bird-hipped dinosaurs, named for the structure of their pelvic bones. This group was already beginning to branch into herbivores that would eventually include stegosaurs with their iconic plates and later armored ankylosaurs. During the Jurassic, the primitive ornithischians laid foundations for these remarkable adaptations, balancing defense and feeding strategies in ways that helped them thrive alongside other herbivores. Paleontologists recognize that this diversification was not a mere explosion of numbers alone, but also one of ecological differentiation. Different dinosaur species occupied distinct niches, ranging from massive tree browsers, low-level grazers, and quick, small carnivores to larger apex predators, allowing cohabitation within overlapping territories without exhausting resources. The environments of the Jurassic, with their warm climates, extensive forests, and varied geography created by the gradual breakup of Pangaea, facilitated the spread and isolation of populations. Geographic isolation helped drive speciation as populations adapted to local climates, food resources, and predators. For instance, dinosaurs in coastal areas contended with different challenges than those in the arid inland deserts or floodplain environments. Alongside anatomical diversification, behavioral evolution also took flight. Herding likely emerged during this time, offering protection from predators and improving foraging efficiency. Evidence from trackways and nesting sites suggest that some Jurassic dinosaurs began to display parental care, social interaction, and possibly even coordinated hunting strategies. The Jurassic fossil record reveals that many dinosaur lineages we associate with later periods actually trace their roots to this era. For example, the gigantic sauropods, represented by genera such as Apatosaurus and Brachiosaurus, had their early ancestral forms arise in the Jurassic and evolved steadily thereafter. Similarly, theropods diversified into groups that would culminate in formidable predators like Allosaurus. This period also witnessed gradual shifts in dinosaur physiology and body plans. Advances in respiratory systems akin to those in modern birds might have emerged, supporting high energy demands. Changes in locomotion, such as strengthened hind limbs and refined muscle structures, allowed many dinosaurs to become faster and more agile, increasing their survival prospects. Moreover, Jurassic dinosaurs began the slow evolutionary journey toward more complex, integumentary structures. While feathers and feather-like structures still remain a subject of ongoing research for some Jurassic species, their potential presence in certain theropods suggests the early beginnings of insulation and display features that would later become prominent. As the Jurassic curve advanced into its middle and late stages, the diversity and dominance of dinosaurs solidified. They occupied every terrestrial ecological niche imaginable, from small insect eaters to towering giants, stealthy predators to heavily armored tanks. This evolutionary success story reveals their ability to adapt to and capitalize on the diverse, often challenging environments shaped by shifting climates and continental configurations. It is worth noting that this diversification did not occur in isolation. Other contemporary organisms, such as early mammals, crocodilian ancestors, turtles, and amphibians, also flourished and interacted with dinosaurs, shaping the complex ecosystems of the Jurassic. These interactions may have created competitive and predatory pressures that fueled evolutionary innovations among dinosaurs. Importantly, dinosaur diversification during the Jurassic was a gradual, multifaceted process. It was influenced by tectonic forces fragmenting land masses, atmospheric changes altering climates, vegetation shifts creating new feeding opportunities, and the evolving relationships between species. This complex chapter in Earth's history offers a window into the processes by which life radiates and adapts, illustrating the intricate dance between organisms and their world. As we proceed, the story will unfold into the rise of some of the largest ever land animals, the first giant sauropods, and the formidable predators that challenged their reign. This progression from diversification to specialization is central to understanding the struggle for survival in the Jurassic's ever-changing world. The Jurassic period is often remembered as the Age of Giants, a time when some of the most monumental animals ever to walk the Earth first emerged and began to dominate terrestrial ecosystems. Central among these colossal creatures were the sauropods, the true giants of the dinosaur world, known for their immense sizes, long necks, and massive pillar-like legs. The rise of these giants during the Jurassic is a fascinating evolutionary saga, one that reveals how life on Earth pushed the limits of size and adaptation to survive and thrive in a changing environment. To comprehend the emergence of sauropods, it's essential to understand their ancestry. Sauropods belonged to the clade Sauropodomorpha, which first evolved in the late Triassic period. Initially, many of these early sauropodomorphs were modest in size, often referred to as prosauropods, and occupied a niche that was both herbivorous and somewhat facultatively bipedal. They were not the gigantic, slow-moving behemoths later imagined, but rather smaller, more agile creatures, with a posture sometimes capable of both bipedal locomotion and quadrupedal browsing. As the Jurassic dawned, evolutionary pressures and opportunities spurred sauropodomorphs on a trajectory toward gigantism. This transformation involved remarkable anatomical and physiological changes, with the earliest true sauropods gradually abandoning bipedalism in favor of fully quadrupedal stances, facilitating greater body mass support. The immense size was not just an accident of growth, but a survival strategy, enabling them to access foliage beyond the reach of other herbivores, deter predators through sheer scale, and efficiently process large amounts of low-nutrient plant material. The earliest true sauropods thrived in early Jurassic ecosystems where flourishing gymnosperm forests, dominated by conifers, cycads, and ginkgos, offered abundant food. Their elongated necks, some extending several meters, provided a feeding advantage. They could reach high into the canopy to harvest leaves without expending much energy moving their massive bodies. This feeding envelope concept meant that sauropods could exploit a rich resource niche largely inaccessible to other herbivores. A pivotal evolutionary innovation accompanying their enormous size was the development of a highly specialized skeletal structure. Sauropods evolved vertebrae that were pneumatized, containing air sacs connected to the respiratory system, making their skeletons lighter. This biological marvel reduced their overall weight without compromising strength, an essential adaptation for creatures that could exceed 20 meters in length and weigh over 20 tons. Moreover, sauropods transformed their limbs into columnar, elephant-like supports, with robust, straight bones capable of bearing immense stress. Their feet were wide and cushioned by soft tissue, enabling shock absorption and stability. The large, barrel-shaped bodies housed equally massive digestive tracts, essential for fermenting cellulose-rich plants, much like modern-day herbivorous mammals that digest tough vegetation. The family's evolutionary journey toward gigantism was not just a matter of getting larger. Their respiratory system hints at a connection to birds, a clade closely related to theropod dinosaurs, indicating a highly efficient flow-through lung system supported by air sacs. This efficient oxygen delivery likely allowed them to sustain their massive metabolisms, despite their enormous body size. One of the earliest definitive sauropods from the early Jurassic is Volcanodon, which reached substantial sizes compared to its ancestors, but was still relatively modest compared to later Jurassic giants. Throughout the Middle Jurassic, sauropods like Stegosaurus and the increasingly known Shunosaurus exemplified the trend of size growth and ecological dominance. Their fossils suggest they were widespread, inhabiting diverse environments ranging from floodplains to forested regions. The late Jurassic heralded the apex of sauropod evolution with the arrival of behemoths such as Apatosaurus, Brachiosaurus, and Diplodocus. These giants, spanning lengths of 20 to 30 meters or more, truly embodied the superlatives of the dinosaur world. Brachiosaurus, for instance, with its longer front legs, held its head much higher than most sauropods, allowing it to exploit treetops like a terrestrial giraffe. Diplodocus, meanwhile, had an extraordinarily long tail and neck, perfect for sweeping up vast quantities of vegetation without much movement. This era also witnessed the diversification of sauropods into families like the Diplodocidae and the Titanosauriforms, each characterized by unique evolutionary modifications catering to different ecological roles. Some developed whip-like tails, possibly used for defense or communication. Impressed upon others was a robust body form that conveyed power and resilience. The rise of these giants drastically changed the Jurassic landscape. Their feeding behaviors influenced forest structures, and their sheer scale reshaped their ecosystems. Though dominant, these giants were not immune to the challenges of life. Their massive sizes required immense amounts of food and continuous water sources, pushing them to adapt migratory or social behaviors that helped them survive seasonal changes. Fossil trackways suggest that many sauropods traveled in herds, likely for protection and improved foraging efficiency, a survival strategy among many large herbivores living today. As sauropods grew in size and complexity, their coexistence with other dinosaur groups, particularly theropod predators, shaped predator-prey dynamics. While mature adults might have been relatively safe from most predators due to their size, juveniles were vulnerable and likely a significant food source. This dynamic may have promoted certain behaviors, such as nesting in protected locations and forming maternal groups. The rise of sauropods during the Jurassic symbolizes more than just physical growth. It represents a remarkable evolutionary experiment in biology's scale limits, metabolic demands, and environmental interactions. Their towering forms, symbolic of prehistoric grandeur, emerged due to a convergence of evolutionary innovations that balanced anatomy, physiology, and ecology against the backdrop of Jurassic Earth's changing environments. Understanding the ascent of these giants helps us appreciate not only the wonders of dinosaur evolution, but also the delicate equilibrium that enabled such gargantuan creatures to thrive. Following this exploration, we will turn our attention to the predators who ruled these ancient lands alongside the sauropods, highlighting the dynamic interplay of hunter and giant prey in Jurassic ecosystems. This balance between enormous herbivores and their carnivorous challengers defined much of the struggle for survival during this transformative period in Earth's history. As the Jurassic period advanced into its middle and late stages, the landscape of predation on land underwent a remarkable transformation that shaped ecosystems in profound ways. Dominating the role of apex predators were the theropods, a diverse group of bipedal, mostly carnivorous dinosaurs that had first appeared during the Triassic, but truly came into their own during the Jurassic. Central among these formidable hunters stood Allosaurus, a large, fearsome predator whose reign symbolized the ascendancy of theropods in Jurassic ecosystems and the complex predator-prey dynamics that ensued. Theropods, which belong to the clade Dinosauria characterized by hollow bones and three-toed limbs, evolved various adaptations that made them highly effective predators. Early Jurassic theropods had already begun to diversify, but by the Middle Jurassic, more specialized forms were emerging. These creatures exhibited anatomical refinements, including powerful jaws, lined with sharp, serrated teeth designed for slicing flesh, strong forelimbs tipped with curved razor-like claws, and keen sensory systems. Together, these features made them versatile hunters capable of tackling a wide array of prey, from small, nimble animals to some of the enormous herbivores that roamed the land. Allosaurus, one of the largest and most well-known late Jurassic theropods, grew to lengths of up to 12 meters, approximately 40 feet, or more, and weighed between 1.5 to 2.5 metric tons. Its skull, heavily constructed yet lightweight due to air-filled cavities, housed large blade-shaped teeth perfect for biting and tearing. The flexible jaw and strong neck muscles enabled powerful strikes, allowing Allosaurus to grasp and dismember prey efficiently. Unlike some later gigantic theropods, such as Tyrannosaurus rex, Allosaurus had relatively long arms equipped with three-fingered hands, ending in sharp claws. These appendages likely played a crucial role in gripping struggling prey, slashing, or delivering fatal wounds. Paleontological evidence supports the idea that Allosaurus was an active and aggressive hunter, capable of taking down large sauropods and ornithischian dinosaurs, though it probably also scavenged when opportunities arose. The fossil record has revealed butchery marks on bones left by Allosaurus teeth, indicating a hunting ecology that included both pursuit, predation, and opportunistic feeding. Evidence also suggests that multiple Allosaurus individuals could have worked together, potentially ambushing large prey in groups. Though whether this behavior constituted true pack hunting remains under scientific investigation. Allosaurus was not alone in ruling the Jurassic carnivorous landscape. Contemporaneous theropods such as Ceratosaurus and Torvosaurus added diversity to the predator guild. Ceratosaurus, slightly smaller but formidable, had distinctive features like a horned snout and a more robust skull. This predator likely specialized in ambush strategies within denser forested environments, supplementing the hunting niches occupied by Allosaurus in more open areas. Torvosaurus, meanwhile, emerged during the late Jurassic as a large and powerful theropod with deep jaws and massive teeth. Its robust build implies it was capable of subduing large prey, perhaps competing directly with Allosaurus in some regions. The coexistence of multiple large theropods underscores the complexity of Jurassic ecosystems and the partitioning of hunting strategies and habitats to reduce direct competition. Smaller theropods, too, diversified during the Jurassic, filling roles as swift, agile predators hunting smaller animals such as early mammals, lizards, and juvenile dinosaurs. Their presence contributed to a multi-tiered food web of carnivory that kept ecosystems balanced. The rise of such predators brought pronounced evolutionary pressures on herbivores and other prey animals. Defensive adaptations, ranging from increased size, armor, speed, to social behaviors like herding, likely were responses to threat from these hunters, stimulating an evolutionary arms race that drove both sides to innovate. From a physiological standpoint, Jurassic theropods displayed features that may have supported high metabolic rates. Some paleontological studies suggest that many theropods had bird-like respiratory systems, complete with air sacs, that allowed for efficient oxygen exchange, fueling sustained activity during hunting. This respiratory efficiency, combined with lightweight skeletons and muscular limbs, made them formidable in both endurance and agility. Furthermore, evidence from trackways and fossils suggests that some theropods engaged in complex behaviors, possibly including courtship displays and territoriality communicated through calls, gestures, or visual displays facilitated by crests and ornamentation found in certain species. Allosaurus and its kin exemplify the dynamic balance of the Jurassic ecosystems, where predator and prey exerted mutual evolutionary influence. The ecological drama that unfolded highlights the intricate strategies of survival and dominance played out on a prehistoric stage. In essence, the reign of Allosaurus and other theropods during the Jurassic immortalized a time when carnivorous dinosaurs honed the art of predation, mastering anatomical, ecological, and behavioral adaptations that would set the precedent for future top predators of the Mesozoic. Their legacy invites us to explore the continuous dance of survival, feeding, fighting, and thriving that defined dinosaur life for millions of years. Looking ahead, the adaptations that supported the success of these predators, teeth, claws, and speed, further illustrate the keen evolutionary arms race that pushed dinosaurs toward incredible specialization and complexity. Together, these themes weave a rich narrative of life during the Jurassic, a time when the stakes of existence shaped bodies, minds, and societies in wondrous and sometimes fearsome ways. In the vast and vibrant world of the Jurassic, survival was a daily challenge. Both predators and prey faced relentless pressures from their environment and from each other. It was a time when the demands of life shaped the bodies and behaviors of dinosaurs in profound ways, forging remarkable adaptations that enabled them to hunt, forage, escape, and endure. Among the most essential of these adaptations were those embodied in the motifs of teeth, claws, and speed, tools evolved over millions of years that became integral to the survival of many dinosaur species. Exploring these features offers fascinating insights into the biological innovations that underpinned the Jurassic balance of power. Teeth, in particular, represent one of the most direct windows into the diets and lifestyles of extinct animals. During the Jurassic, dinosaur dentition became highly specialized and varied to suit their specific feeding habits. Theropods, the carnivorous dinosaurs that ruled as predators, evolved sharp, serrated teeth designed for slicing through flesh. These blade-like teeth, often curved and finely serrated like a steak knife, enabled effective gripping and cutting of prey, reducing even the largest herbivores to manageable pieces. For instance, the teeth of Allosaurus were shaped to slice flesh efficiently, allowing it to tackle prey much larger than itself. In contrast, herbivorous dinosaurs faced a different challenge: how to process vast quantities of fibrous, tough plant material. Jurassic herbivores developed an array of dental adaptations to tackle this obstacle. Many had broad, leaf-shaped teeth with ridged surfaces that were excellent for stripping leaves, chewing tough cycads, and grinding conifers. Sauropods, with their long necks, often had small, peg-like teeth, ideal for stripping vegetation, while ornithischians like stegosaurs exhibited teeth with complex ridges suited to breaking down plant matter effectively. Moreover, some dinosaurs developed dental replacement strategies that allowed teeth to be replaced continuously throughout their lives, an adaptation that proved vital given the wear inflicted by their diets. This enabled herbivores to maintain functional dentition despite the abrasive nature of many Jurassic plants, such as ground ferns and conifers covered with tough cuticles. Complementing their teeth, claws served multiple roles that were essential for survival. Theropods wielded powerful forelimbs tipped with sharp, recurved claws, which could slice into prey or hold struggling victims firmly as they delivered the killing bite. These claws functioned almost like weapons, enhancing predatory efficiency. Some smaller theropods had elongated hands and fingers, possibly used for deft manipulation, climbing, or pouncing on small animals. On the defensive side, some herbivorous dinosaurs evolved remarkable claw structures as well. The stegosaurs, famous for their plated backs, possessed formidable tail spikes, sometimes called thagomizers, used for defense against attacking predators. Such clawed weapons could deliver powerful blows to deter or injure attackers, tipping the balance during confrontations. Claws also played an essential role in other survival behaviors, such as digging. Certain ornithischians may have used claws for excavating nests, foraging for roots and tubers, or burrowing to create shelters or evade extreme climatic conditions. Speed, however, was perhaps one of the most decisive adaptations for many Jurassic dinosaurs. Locomotion capabilities influenced hunting success for predators and escape potential for prey. Speed depended on an intricate combination of skeletal design, muscle arrangement, and energy metabolism. Theropods evolved long hind limbs with specialized joints and tendons that provided an efficient stride and quick acceleration. Their lightweight skeletons minimized the energy needed for movement. Hollow bones and air sacs within the respiratory system likely increased oxygen delivery to muscles, supporting sustained activity. The digitigrade stance, standing on their toes, conferred leverage and allowed them to sprint quickly when chasing prey or evading threats. Among herbivores, speed took on different roles. While massive sauropods relied less on speed due to their bulk, many ornithischians and smaller herbivores were swift and nimble. For example, early ornithopods were cursorial dinosaurs, adapted for taking rapid, agile steps that could help them flee predators. Their limb proportions and muscle attachments indicated efficient, balanced movement over varied terrain, crucial for survival in environments where stealth and endurance mattered. Interestingly, speed was not merely a function of raw power, but also of behavioral tactics. Some dinosaur species may have used bursts of speed for short chases or quick escapes, while others relied on endurance to outlast predators or pursue prey over distance. The evolution of speed reflects an arms race between hunters and the hunted, each adapting to the other's capabilities. Additional anatomical features supported these vital functions. Muscular tails in many dinosaurs acted as counterbalances during running and abrupt turns. Flexibility in joints and a sturdy but light pelvis architecture improved stability and agility. Even feathers or protofeathers, appearing in some theropods, might have aided balance and maneuverability, and perhaps provided insulation to maintain the energy needed for such active lifestyles. The combined power of teeth, claws, and speed created a dynamic interplay among Jurassic dinosaurs. Carnivores evolved more effective weapons and hunting techniques, pushing herbivores to develop defenses like armor and evasive tactics. This evolutionary dance spurred diversification and complexity across species. Balancing these traits was crucial. For example, investments in defensive armor might come at the expense of speed, just as developing massive muscle power required energy trade-offs. Each species found unique solutions depending on its ecological niche and evolutionary heritage. Further evidence from fossilized trackways reveals not only estimates of dinosaur speed, but also hints at social behaviors like group movement and coordinated escape strategies. These factors emphasize that survival adaptations were not merely individual traits, but often integrated behavioral responses to the challenges of Jurassic ecosystems. Reflecting on these adaptations fosters a deeper appreciation of the finely tuned biological and ecological mechanisms that allowed dinosaurs to flourish. Teeth sharpened for flesh or designed to break down plants, claws wielded as weapons or tools, and speed-enabling pursuits or escapes, all weave together into the fabric of Jurassic survival. Moving forward, these adaptations did more than just facilitate daily survival. They also led to ever more complex defense mechanisms. The evolution of armor, horns, and specialized tails among certain dinosaur groups echoes the ongoing arms race fueled by the relentless pressures of predation and competition. A topic we shall delve into next as we explore the evolving defenses that armored the giants and their kin in Jurassic environments. Throughout the Jurassic period, as carnivorous dinosaurs such as Allosaurus grew into formidable predators, herbivorous dinosaurs faced increasing pressure to develop effective defenses. The evolutionary arms race between predators and prey drove some of the most fascinating and specialized adaptations in dinosaur anatomy. Armor, horns, and tails, features that enhanced protection, deterrence, and survival in a world where danger lurked constantly. From the outset, it's important to recognize that defensive adaptations were shaped by multiple challenges and environmental contexts. Large size alone offered some level of protection, exemplified by the immense sauropods whose sheer bulk made them difficult prey. However, size came with limitations. Juveniles were vulnerable, and bulky forms often moved slowly. Thus, many herbivorous dinosaurs evolved physical features that acted as dynamic barriers or weapons against predation. Armor was among the most visually striking and functionally critical defenses during the Jurassic. The most iconic example is the Stegosauria, a group of heavily armored herbivores renowned for their distinctive plates and tail spikes. Stegosaurus itself, living in the late Jurassic, bore 2 rows of large flat dorsal plates protruding from its back and a powerful tail equipped with spikes commonly called the thagomizer. These plates may have served multiple purposes, including thermoregulation, species recognition, and crucially, defense. Yet it was the tail spikes that were likely the best defensive weapon, capable of delivering strong, precise blows to deter predators. Fossil evidence shows healed injuries in some predators' fossils that match the shape of stegosaur tail spikes, suggesting active combat between these dinosaurs. Other armored dinosaurs, such as ankylosaurs, though better known from the Cretaceous, had Jurassic ancestors beginning to show armored traits like bony osteoderms embedded in the skin. These osteoderms formed an external shield, making bites and attacks less effective. The evolution of such armor displays an investment in passive defense, a mobile tank-like protection that minimized damage from predators. Horns and bony crests also emerged as defensive and display features. While many Jurassic ornithischians lacked the massive horns seen in later ceratopsians, some species began developing bony protuberances or cranial ornamentation. These might have served to intimidate predators or rivals through visual displays or been used physically during contests or defense. In some cases, pronounced skull features could protect vital sensory organs or the brain during clashes. The tail was another critical defensive tool beyond what we see in stegosaurs. Many large herbivores possessed muscular tails capable of swift lateral motion, which could be wielded like a club or whip. Occasionally, early forms of tail clubs, bony expansions at tail tips, appeared, later becoming more pronounced in the Cretaceous ankylosaurs. Such appendages enabled herbivores to strike threatening predators or competing conspecifics with considerable force, turning what might otherwise be a passive body part into an effective weapon. The combination of armor plates, horns, and weaponized tails speaks to a layered strategy in defense, blending passive protection and active deterrence. This complexity reflects the escalating challenges herbivores faced as Jurassic predators became more efficient carnivores. Interestingly, some of these defensive features also had secondary functions. Armor plates may have played roles in temperature regulation by dissipating heat or absorbing sunlight. Similarly, horns and crests were likely used in intraspecies communication for mate attraction or territorial displays. These multifunctional adaptations reveal a nuanced evolutionary path where survival and social behaviors intertwined. From a biomechanical perspective, the construction of armor and weaponized tails demanded significant physiological investment. Producing heavy bony plates and strong muscle attachments required resources and affected mobility, leading to trade-offs between protection and speed. Yet, the persistence and elaboration of these traits suggest their immense value for survival outweighed potential costs. Fossilized injuries and healed wounds provide direct windows into the lives of these armored dinosaurs, revealing encounters with predators and the effectiveness of their defenses. Some specimens exhibit puncture marks from theropod bites that had healed, indicating close encounters but survival. Relics of broken or damaged spikes and plates also stand as silent testimony to fierce battles of Jurassic times. Beyond herbivores, some carnivorous theropods evolved display structures or minor ornamentations that could have served to intimidate rivals or aid in social signaling. Although not defensive armor per se, these evolving features underscore the complex roles of physical adaptations in Jurassic dinosaur behavior and survival. In essence, the evolutionary development of armor, horns, and weaponized tails during the Jurassic represents an intricate interplay between aggression and defense. The biological arms race balanced on morphology. These adaptations highlight the dynamic pressures faced by dinosaurs to survive in predators' shadows. They add layers of complexity to how we understand Jurassic ecosystems, revealing a world not only of predation, but also of sophisticated defensive strategies. As we continue, examining the herbivores that bore these defenses, such as the Stegosaurus and its relatives, will deepen our understanding of how these remarkable adaptations functioned within broader social and ecological contexts. We will explore not just the physical structures, but the behaviors and environments that shaped and were shaped by these armored giants, illuminating their world in vivid detail. As the Jurassic period unfolded, herbivorous dinosaurs became foundational architects of terrestrial ecosystems, shaping the vegetational landscape while evolving fascinating adaptations to protect themselves from predators. Among the herbivores, Stegosaurus and its relatives stand out as emblematic figures, iconic representatives of a group that combined formidable defenses with unique anatomy and behavior, crafting a niche that resonates through prehistoric time. Stegosaurus, one of the most recognized dinosaurs, first appeared in the late Jurassic, roughly 155 to 150 million years ago. Measuring around 9 meters, 30 feet in length, and weighing approximately 5 to 7 metric tons, Stegosaurus was by no means the largest herbivore of its age. Yet, its distinctive body plan set it apart. A low-slung, heavily built body, robust hind limbs, shorter forelimbs, an array of large, bony plates aligning its back, and a tail tipped with long, sharp spikes, commonly referred to as the thagomizer. These anatomical features reveal a fascinating story of survival, adaptation, and ecological roles. The plates along Stegosaurus's back were large, flat structures made of bone, embedded within thick skin and vascularized with blood vessels. While their exact functions are still the subject of scientific exploration, prevailing theories suggest multiple roles. Thermoregulation is one possibility, with the plates helping the dinosaur absorb heat in cooler mornings or dissipate heat during warmer periods. More visibly, the plates might have served in social signaling, species recognition, sexual display, or intimidation, making Stegosaurus a more conspicuous presence within its environment. Perhaps the most formidable feature was the tail. Armed with 4 to 10 long, sharp spikes, the Thagomizer acted as a potent defensive weapon. Biomechanical studies indicate that Stegosaurus could swing its tail laterally with enough force to injure or even incapacitate predators such as Allosaurus. This defensive adaptation was crucial. Though Stegosaurus was large and strong, it likely relied heavily on such specialized weapons to deter attacks. Stegosaurus belonged to the broader group of stegosaurs, which included varieties with diverse plate shapes and tail spikes. Some species exhibited longer, narrower plates, while others had different arrangements and numbers of spikes. This morphological variety suggests evolutionary experimentation within the clade, adapting to diverse environments and predatory threats across the Jurassic landscapes. The feeding strategies of Stegosaurus and its kin were equally intriguing. Possessing a relatively small head with a beak-like mouth, Stegosaurus was adapted to low browsing, feeding primarily on ferns, cycads, conifers, and other Jurassic flora. Its teeth, though small and simple in structure compared to some other herbivores, were suited for shearing vegetation. Yet, unlike the chewing wheels of later herbivores, Stegosaurus likely relied on a large gut and fermentation to break down tough plant fibers. Beyond Stegosaurus, Jurassic herbivorous dinosaurs exhibited a remarkable diversity. Other ornithischians, including early ankylosaurs and primitive ornithopods, contributed to the dynamic plant-eating community. Each group brought unique adaptations. Ankylosaurs with their armored bodies and tail clubs, though more fully developed in the Cretaceous, and nimble ornithopods resembling the early ancestors of hadrosaurs, adapted to diverse vegetation and employing different locomotor and feeding strategies. Ecologically, stegosaurids occupied mid-sized herbivore niches, often coexisting with the colossal sauropods and smaller herbivorous dinosaurs. Their body size balanced mobility and defense, enabling exploitation of particular plant resources and habitats. Evidence suggests that stegosaurs may have preferred open woodlands or floodplain environments, where their low browsing and defensive adaptations were most effective. Socially, interpretations from fossil trackways and bone beds hint at possible herd behaviors among stegosaurs, though the evidence is less robust compared to some other dinosaur groups. Herding would have offered protection benefits. Even the mighty Thagomizer was more effective when predators faced a group rather than an isolated individual. Importantly, the evolutionary legacy of Stegosaurus extends well beyond its Jurassic heyday. Its unique combination of armor, weaponry, and feeding adaptations set a precedent in dinosaur evolution. The stirrings of this lineage can be traced back to earlier Jurassic relatives, whose bones reveal the gradual acquisition of the specialized plates and spikes that would make Stegosaurus so distinctive. Studying Stegosaurus and its kin also enriches our understanding of dinosaur paleobiology, shedding light on interactions between herbivores and predators, ecological partitioning, and anatomical innovation. The balance of defense and feeding specialization reflects the ongoing biography of survival, where physical form, environment, and behavior intertwine. As we explore this world of Jurassic herbivores, the tales of Stegosaurus remind us that dinosaurs were not just giants or fierce hunters, but also complex creatures with diverse adaptations aimed at meeting the demands of a prehistoric world replete with both opportunity and peril. Their delicate dance of defense and sustenance provides an essential chapter in the grand story of life's persistence on Earth. Next, we will examine the social structures that shaped dinosaur societies, from solitary stalkers to herding herds, illuminating how life's challenges forged connections, alliances, and interactions among these magnificent creatures. Life in the Jurassic was a world of constant interaction, where survival often hinged not just on physical adaptations, but on behaviors shaped by social structures. Dinosaurs, like many animals today, likely exhibited a range of social behaviors from solitary existence to complex group dynamics such as herding and possibly even pack hunting. These social structures influenced not only their day-to-day survival, but also their evolutionary trajectories, as cooperation, competition, and communication became vital survival tools across various species. Many herbivorous dinosaurs are believed to have lived and moved in herds. Herding behavior offers several advantages, particularly for large herbivores facing relentless predation pressures. Groups provide safety through numbers. The many eyes effect enhances vigilance, reducing the chances of surprise attack by predators. This collective defense strategy means individuals can allocate more time and energy to feeding and reproduction rather than constant alertness. Trackways discovered in Jurassic sedimentary rocks have provided compelling evidence of herd movement. These trackways show multiple individuals, sometimes of varying ages and sizes, moving together across floodplains and other habitats. Such coordinated travel implies social groups moving en masse, possibly migrating seasonally to exploit available food resources or safer nesting grounds. Fossil assemblages, where several individuals of the same species are found together, further support the existence of social groups. Stegosaurus, for example, pictured earlier, may have lived in herds or loose groups. While skeletal fossils alone cannot reveal social behavior, associated trackways and bone beds suggest that members of these relatively sluggish, heavily armored herbivores found strength in numbers. Similarly, the vast sauropods, those towering giants with elongated necks, likely benefited from group living, which provided protection to juveniles especially vulnerable to predation. Among carnivorous dinosaurs, the picture of social behavior is more complex. Many theropods, including the mighty Allosaurus, appear adapted for solitary hunting. Their anatomy, strong, agile limbs and keen senses, supports the idea of stealth, speed, and ambush as primary hunting tactics. However, some paleontologists suggest that certain theropods may have exhibited rudimentary pack behaviors. Evidence in the form of fossilized bone beds containing multiple individuals of the same species, sometimes associated with large prey, remains, hint at the possibility of coordinated hunting efforts, though such conclusions remain debated. Smaller theropods possibly showed more flexibility in social dynamics. Agile, fast-moving species hunting small prey or scavenging may have formed loosely associated groups for mutual benefit or protection. Vocalizations and visual displays could have played roles in coordinating group behaviors or territorial disputes. The presence of crests, frills, and other ornamentations in some species supports the idea of complex social interactions. Social living was not without its costs. Living in groups inevitably increased competition for food, mates, and space, and the risk of disease transmission. These challenges likely shaped social behaviors too, enforcing hierarchy within groups and promoting territoriality in others. Fossil evidence of healed injuries from intraspecies combat implies that competition among individuals, even within herds or packs, was common. Moreover, the social structures of dinosaurs extended into reproductive behaviors. Nesting colonies found in various Jurassic deposits suggest that some species nested communally, possibly driven by the benefits of shared vigilance and protection. Parental care behaviors, which we will explore soon, also indicate social bonds beyond mere proximity. By understanding these social structures, we glimpse the dynamic lives of Jurassic dinosaurs, not just solitary creatures struggling independently, but complex beings engaging in collective behaviors to thrive. The interplay of herds providing defense and resource optimization. Solitary hunters relying on stealth and speed, and potentially cooperative predation strategies showcases a world rich in behavioral diversity. As we turn next toward parental care and nesting behaviors, we will uncover how these social patterns extended into reproduction and offspring rearing, a crucial aspect of survival that shaped dinosaur populations and their long-term evolutionary success, deepening our appreciation for their intricate social lives amid the prehistoric landscapes. In the vast epoch of the Jurassic period, the ancient landscapes echoed with the rhythms of countless creatures evolving, adapting, and striving to survive. Among these, dinosaurs displayed a mosaic of life strategies, many of which involved intricate behavioral patterns that significantly enhanced the survival prospects of their young. One of the most fascinating aspects of dinosaur life that scientists continue to unravel is their parental care and nesting behaviors, which provide crucial windows into their social biology and reproductive ecology. Though our understanding is still evolving, evidence accumulated over decades paints a compelling picture. Many dinosaurs did not merely lay eggs and leave their offspring to fate. Instead, they engaged in behaviors ranging from nest construction and egg guarding to possible brooding and care for hatchlings, suggesting a degree of parental investment previously thought limited to birds and mammals. The journey to this understanding begins with the fossilized nests themselves. Jurassic strata across multiple continents have yielded egg clutches arranged in orderly patterns that imply intentional nesting rather than accidental deposition. These nests often contain similar-sized eggs, indicative of synchronous laying, implying repeated visits or communal nesting grounds. These favorable nesting sites were typically in sheltered locales such as floodplains or coastal areas, providing protection from environmental extremes. At places like the Morrison Formation in North America and sites across China and Europe, fossilized nests attributed to various dinosaur taxa have unveiled remarkable details. For instance, preserved specimens of embryos inside some eggs reveal early stages of development, allowing paleontologists to infer incubation periods and nesting seasonality. Embryonic fossils also help discern the degree of precociality, the extent to which hatchlings were capable of independent life immediately after birth. Some Jurassic dinosaurs, particularly theropods, likely exhibited brooding behavior reminiscent of that seen in modern birds. Fossils discovered in China indicate that some theropods might have been incubating their eggs, using their bodies to regulate temperature, a compelling connection bridging dinosaurs and their avian descendants. This parental warmth would have afforded a greater chance of hatching success in fluctuating Jurassic climates. Among herbivorous dinosaurs, nesting sites unearthed suggest possible communal behavior. Large groups of nests appearing in proximity raise the possibility that some species nested in colonies, providing collective surveillance against predators and enhancing reproductive success. Such behaviors mirror nesting grounds of modern reptiles and birds, indicating an ancient legacy of social reproductive strategies. Parental care likely extended beyond the egg stage. Trackways include footprints of juveniles alongside adults, implying that the young may have remained in familial groups, protected and guided by elders until capable of independent foraging and defense. This would be particularly advantageous in environments teeming with predators, increasing the survival rate of the vulnerable. Furthermore, the morphology of some dinosaur skeletons suggests adaptations that supported parental care. For example, limb strength and body proportions may have enabled adults to shield their young or transport them if necessary. Some paleontologists hypothesize that certain dinosaurs could have guarded their nests aggressively, warding off curious carnivores and other threats. The evolutionary significance of these behaviors cannot be overstated. By investing energy and resources into offspring survival, Jurassic dinosaurs enhanced the continuation of their species, influencing demographic stability and potentially accelerating evolutionary responses to environmental pressures. In essence, exploring the parental care and nesting behaviors of Jurassic dinosaurs reveals a world where survival was not left to chance. It was a landscape where relationships between parent and offspring were pivotal, echoing the deep biological roots of caregiving that persist in the animal kingdom today. As we proceed, these social and nurturing behaviors weave seamlessly into the broader tapestry of communication among dinosaurs. How they displayed, vocalized, and scent-marked their existence within the dynamic Jurassic ecosystems, enriching our understanding of their lives beyond mere bones and environments. Communication among dinosaurs during the Jurassic period was an essential aspect of their survival, social interaction, and reproductive success. Though we cannot hear their sounds or see their colors, paleontologists have gathered intriguing clues from fossils and modern animal analogs that shed light on the complex ways these ancient creatures might have conveyed information, whether through visual displays, vocalizations, or even chemical signals. Long before the development of human languages, the ancestors of modern reptiles and birds had already evolved a fascinating array of communication methods. Dinosaurs, sharing evolutionary ties with birds, very likely employed some of these ancestral behavioral traits, refined and expanded over millions of years. Communication served numerous functions: attracting mates, establishing dominance or territory, coordinating group movements, warning of danger, and caring for offspring. Visual displays were a primary mode of communication among many Jurassic dinosaurs, particularly using physical structures evolved for both survival and signaling. Ornamentations such as crests, frills, horns, and elongated plates came in diverse forms and likely served as visual indicators of species identity, maturity, sex, and fitness. For example, the large, bony plates along the back of Stegosaurus, with their vascular networks, might have been used to enhance their visual presence during courtship or territorial displays, changing color through blood flow or other physiological mechanisms. Similarly, theropods with crests or ridges on their skulls, like Ceratosaurus, could have used these features to communicate threat or dominance signals. Brightly colored or contrasting patterns on skin and feathers, though rarely preserved in fossils, are hypothesized based on close relatives such as birds and crocodilians, suggesting that vibrant hues and patterns played important roles. Beyond visual displays, sounds were a crucial yet challenging form of dinosaur communication. Vocalizations could range from low-frequency rumbles to high-pitched calls, allowing communication over distances and in dense vegetation where sight was limited. Some smaller theropods may have produced bird-like calls aided by specialized vocal organs. Larger dinosaurs potentially created resonating sounds using pneumatic chambers, hollow crests, or other anatomical adaptations, similar to how modern-day birds and crocodilians use their vocal apparatus or resonating structures to amplify calls. In particular, some hadrosaurids, not prominent until later periods but with early relatives in the late Jurassic, had crested skulls capable of complex sounds, suggesting the evolutionary roots of acoustic signaling were already forming in this era. These sounds could convey identity, alarm, or reproductive readiness, helping individuals navigate social dynamics and predator-prey interactions. Chemical communication, though harder to detect in fossils, was likely widespread. Many modern reptiles rely on scent marking and detecting pheromones, and it is plausible that some Jurassic dinosaurs possessed scent glands or used urine and feces for marking territory and signaling reproductive status. The use of scent would have been especially useful in dense forest environments where visual and auditory signals might be constrained. Behavioral displays accompanied these communication signals. Postures such as head bobbing, tail waving, feather fluffing, or stomping could intensify messages, making them more conspicuous or intimidating. For instance, Stegosaurus swinging its spiked tail might signal threat to a predator or rival, combining visual cues with physical force. Fossilized trackways and bone beds provide indirect evidence supporting social interaction connected to communication. Group movements, nesting colonies, and healed injuries consistent with combat all imply behavioral complexity dependent on signaling and recognition among individuals. Such rich communication undoubtedly played critical roles in mating rituals, helping to find suitable partners or avoid conflicts. It also enhanced cooperative behaviors like herding, coordinated feeding, and even parental care, behaviors seen in many dinosaurs inferred from the fossil record. In sum, the communication methods of Jurassic dinosaurs, through displays, sounds, and scents, were multifaceted and integral to their success in a world teeming with threats and opportunities, though much about these ancient dialogues remains veiled in mystery. Ongoing research and comparisons with modern descendants continue to illuminate how these remarkable creatures interacted within their environments. As we advance in this journey through Jurassic life, the theme of communication leads naturally into the competition for vital resources, plants, water, and territory that shaped the lives of dinosaurs and the landscapes they inhabited. Understanding how dinosaurs communicated sets the stage for appreciating the subtle battles and alliances forged in the ever-changing prehistoric world. In the sprawling landscapes of the Jurassic period, life was an intricate dance shaped by the fundamental necessity to secure essential resources: plants to eat, water to drink, and territory to inhabit. These resources underpinned survival, but were invariably limited, imposing fierce competition among the diverse fauna inhabiting this ancient world. Understanding how Jurassic dinosaurs and other creatures competed for plants, water, and territory illuminates their ecological dynamics and the pressures shaping evolutionary adaptations. Plant life formed the backbone of terrestrial ecosystems, supporting herbivores of various sizes and feeding strategies. However, despite the luxuriant growth of gymnosperms such as conifers, cycads, ginkgos, and ferns, plant resources were not infinite. Dense populations of large herbivorous dinosaurs, including sauropods and stegosaurs, exerted tremendous grazing pressure, leading to complex interactions not unlike those we observe in modern ecosystems. Competition for food was multifaceted. Different herbivorous species often engaged in niche partitioning, dividing available vegetation by feeding on different plant types at varying heights or using distinct foraging techniques. Sauropods, with their extraordinarily long necks, were capable of browsing high into the tree canopy, accessing foliage unreachable to smaller herbivores. In contrast, stegosaurs and other mid-sized herbivores generally fed on lower vegetation, ferns, and shrubs. Such resource partitioning reduced direct food competition and allowed diverse herbivore assemblages to coexist. Nevertheless, within these generalized feeding categories, intense competition persisted. Local food scarcity during droughts or seasonal changes likely increased contest competition, sometimes driving migrations to greener pastures or forcing shifts in diet. Trace fossils and tooth-wear patterns indicate some herbivores developed specialized dentition to exploit tougher, more fibrous plants when preferred resources waned. Water, an essential and often scarce resource, represented another arena where survival pressures mounted. Jurassic climates, while generally warm and humid, featured periods and regions of seasonal dryness or aridity. Fresh water would have been concentrated in rivers, lakes, and wetlands, oases vital to dinosaurs and other animals alike. Competition for water sources could have been fiercely contested, especially during dry seasons. Herds of sauropods and other large herbivores likely congregated near permanent water bodies, leading to social interactions as well as confrontations. Predators, recognizing these congregations, would have opportunistically hunted near water, intensifying risk for the herbivores. The need to secure water likely influenced migratory behavior. Long-distance seasonal movements aligning with hydrological cycles enabled many dinosaurs to track replenished water and food supplies. Such migrations required knowledge of landscape and routes, possibly transmitted socially across generations. Territory, defined as areas defended or regularly used by individuals or groups, further complicated resource competition. Carnivorous theropods often maintained territories to secure hunting grounds and mating access. Fossil evidence, including bite marks on bones and healed wounds, indicates frequent confrontations between rival predators possibly defending territories or social status. Among herbivores, territoriality may have functioned differently. Some species defended nesting and feeding grounds, particularly when resources were constrained. Others may have adopted more fluid home ranges, balancing resource availability with safety and reproductive opportunities. Competition for territory also intersected with social structures, influencing herd sizes, group cohesion, and movement patterns. Larger herds could better defend vital resources or displace smaller groups, while some solitary hunters relied on stealth and mobility to avoid confrontations. Underlying all these interactions was the evolutionary pressure to optimize resource acquisition while minimizing injury or exhaustion. Physical adaptations, behavioral strategies, and social dynamics all evolved in response to the challenges posed by resource competition. For example, underground burrowing habits in some small vertebrates helped evade competition and harsh conditions, while some dinosaurs adapted to browse on less contested plants or develop specialized digestive systems to exploit tough vegetation. Predators, on their part, refined hunting strategies, ambush versus pursuit, to maximize caloric returns with minimal risk. The Jurassic also witnessed environmental fluctuations caused by volcanic activity, sea level changes, and climate shifts, periodically altering the availability of plants, water, and suitable territory. Mass death assemblages seen in the fossil record may reflect moments when resource stress reached critical levels, precipitating population declines or shifts. In sum, the competition for plants, water, and territory during the Jurassic was a dynamic and ongoing saga, a delicate balance that dictated survival, influenced behavior, and propelled evolutionary innovation. This constant struggle forged the remarkable diversity and complexity we glean from the fossil record, reminding us that even in ancient times, the essence of life depended on securing and defending life's fundamental resources. Looking forward, we will explore the smaller denizens that thrived in the Jurassic understory. Small dinosaurs and other creatures carving out their ecological niches amid giants, shedding light on the complexity of life beneath the towering giants and within the evolving Jurassic world. Amidst the towering giants and sprawling herds of the Jurassic period, an often overlooked world thrived beneath the canopy, the understory. This shaded, sheltered layer of vegetation was home to a myriad of small dinosaurs and other creatures that carved out ecological niches distinct from their larger, more imposing counterparts. Though diminutive in size, These small dinosaurs played pivotal roles in Jurassic ecosystems, showcasing remarkable diversity, adaptations, and survival strategies. The Jurassic understory offered a mosaic of microhabitats, dense ferns, low-lying shrubs, cycads, and juvenile conifers that provided shelter, food, and breeding grounds for small herbivorous and carnivorous dinosaurs. These creatures capitalized on resources unavailable or less accessible to the colossal sauropods and heavily armored stegosaurs, thus reducing direct competition and enabling coexistence. Small herbivorous dinosaurs, such as early ornithopods and certain hypsilophodontids, were agile and nimble occupants of this niche. Their size and speed allowed them to maneuver through dense vegetation, avoiding predators and efficiently foraging on low-level plants, seeds, and possibly insects. Their teeth and jaw structures were often specialized for cropping and processing diverse plant materials, enabling dietary flexibility that was crucial in the varied environments beneath the forest canopy. Some of these small herbivores exhibited social behaviors, forming small groups or family units that enhanced vigilance and protection. In such dense habitats where visibility was limited, group cohesion and alertness provided a survival advantage against stealthy predators lurking nearby. On the carnivorous side, small theropods like compsognathids and coelurosaurs occupied roles as swift hunters of insects, small vertebrates, and carrion within the understory. Their lightweight, streamlined bodies, along with keen senses and sharp claws, made them adept at navigating complex terrain. Some may have exhibited early forms of feathers or filamentous integument, aiding in thermoregulation or camouflage, a hypothesis supported by discoveries of similar species from slightly later periods. The blend of hiding, foraging, and hunting behaviors within the understory cultivated a dynamic ecosystem brimming with competition and cooperation. Many of these small dinosaurs likely displayed rapid reproductive cycles and high metabolic rates to offset predation pressures, underscoring their role as integral yet vulnerable members of the Jurassic food web. Beyond dinosaurs, the understory was home to early mammals, amphibians, insects, and small reptiles, all interacting in a tightly knit community. These creatures formed vital links in the ecosystem, participating in nutrient cycling, seed dispersal, and population control of invertebrates, thus supporting the broader prehistoric environment. The evolutionary success of these small dinosaurs in the understory also provided a foundation for the proliferation and diversification of more specialized descendants during the succeeding Cretaceous period. Their niches, behaviors, and adaptations demonstrated the power of size-based ecological partitioning and foreshadowed the complex terrestrial ecosystems that would emerge in later eras. In summary, the Jurassic understory was a vibrant cradle of life, where small dinosaurs carved out survival strategies amidst the shadows of giants. Their stories remind us that ecological significance is not solely defined by size, but by the ability to adapt, exploit, and coexist within Earth's ever-changing tapestry. As we advance, we will expand our focus to include the role of early mammals and other prehistoric life forms that coexisted alongside dinosaurs, enriching the Jurassic landscape with further complexity and evolutionary intrigue. In the vast and dynamic ecosystems of the Jurassic period, dinosaurs often capture the spotlight as dominant terrestrial animals. Yet, alongside these giants, a diverse cast of other prehistoric life forms played significant roles in shaping the ecological landscape. Among these were early mammals and various other organisms, reptiles, amphibians, insects, and plants, that contributed critically to the complexity, stability, and evolution of Jurassic ecosystems. Understanding the role of these early mammals and fellow prehistoric inhabitants enriches our appreciation of the Jurassic as a multifaceted world teeming with interaction. Early mammals first appeared in the late Triassic, but remained relatively small and inconspicuous throughout most of the Jurassic. These creatures were far from the dominant forms, but demonstrated remarkable resilience and adaptability in niches that enabled them to survive amid the rule of dinosaurs. Most were small, nocturnal insectivores, or omnivores. Their dimly lit, shadowy lives away from the glare of dinosaur dominance, allowing them to exploit resources that larger reptiles overlooked. Anatomically, Jurassic mammals were characterized by intricate teeth adapted for precise chewing, reflecting diets of insects, seeds, and small plants. Their relatively large brains and keen senses, especially enhanced hearing and smell, made them adept survivors in nocturnal and burrowing lifestyles. Such traits highlight an evolutionary strategy centered around avoiding predators and environmental extremes, enabling early mammals to carve out an ecological niche despite their small size. Many early mammals were also adept climbers and burrowers, exploiting habitats such as undergrowth, hollow logs, and underground dens. These behaviors not only aided in predator avoidance, but also contributed to soil aeration and nutrient cycling, subtly influencing plant growth and ecosystem health. Alongside mammals, a rich diversity of other prehistoric life flourished in Jurassic ecosystems. Reptilian groups such as crocodilomorphs, the ancestors of modern crocodilians, radiated into freshwater and terrestrial niches, occupying ecological roles ranging from aquatic ambush predators to semi-aquatic hunters. Their presence added a layer of complexity to food webs, oftentimes competing or interacting with dinosaurs at varying trophic levels. Amphibians, including giant salamanders and early frogs, thrived in moist, warm environments like swamps and riverbanks. They filled crucial roles as insect predators and prey, bridging aquatic and terrestrial food chains. Insects themselves experienced great diversification during the Jurassic, with lineages that include early beetles, flies, moths, and dragonflies populating forests and wetlands. Their abundance supported insectivorous mammals and reptiles while aiding in pollination and plant decomposition. Marine environments of the Jurassic were similarly vibrant, teeming with ichthyosaurs, plesiosaurs, ammonites, and other marine invertebrates. Though many of these species resided outside the immediate realm of terrestrial dinosaurs, their ecological principles of adaptation, predation, and survival illuminate the broader patterns of Jurassic life. The presence and activities of these smaller prehistoric creatures had profound ecological implications. They contributed to energy flow and nutrient cycling, supported complex food webs, and embodied evolutionary experimentation in physiology and behavior. Their survival alongside dominant dinosaurs underscores the Jurassic's rich tapestry of life, where even the humblest creatures played indispensable ecological roles. Moreover, the evolutionary trajectories begun during the Jurassic set the stage for future biodiversity. Early mammals would, over millions of years, evolve into increasingly diverse forms, ultimately giving rise to modern mammals. The insect and amphibian lineages diversified, influencing the evolution of flowering plants and later terrestrial ecosystems. Recognizing the role of early mammals and other prehistoric organisms reminds us that the Jurassic was not simply the age of dinosaurs, but a period of intricate and interwoven life histories. It was a world where dominance was shared, interactions were complex, and resilience was expressed in myriad forms, from the colossal giants to the tiniest insect. As we continue exploring Jurassic life, our next focus will be on the vibrant plant world that sustained these fascinating creatures, flora that provided not only sustenance, but also habitats that shaped the survival and evolution of an entire era. In the Jurassic period, as giant dinosaurs roamed the Earth, towering over forests and sprawling plains, the flora that sustained them formed the backbone of terrestrial ecosystems. The Jurassic flora was a diverse and robust assemblage of plants perfectly adapted to the warm, humid, and often seasonally variable climates of the time. These plants not only provided the crucial sustenance required by massive herbivorous dinosaurs, but also shaped the very landscapes and microhabitats that defined the period. Flowering plants, or angiosperms, had not yet evolved during the Jurassic. Instead, the dominant plant groups were gymnosperms, seed-producing plants that include conifers, cycads, ginkgos, and gnetophytes, as well as various ferns and horsetails. These plants collectively created lush forests, open fern prairies, and swampy wetlands that thrived in the elevated carbon dioxide conditions and the relatively stable warm climate. Conifers, akin to modern pines and spruces but more varied in form, were among the most dominant Jurassic trees. These woody gymnosperms formed extensive forests, offering shade and shelter throughout the ancient world. Their needle-like leaves and reproductive structures, such as cones, were well suited for conserving water and dispersing seeds through wind in diverse environments. These forests provided ample foliage for browsing sauropods, as well as habitats for smaller dinosaurs and other wildlife. Cycads, with their stout trunks and large compound leaves resembling palms, were ubiquitous across Jurassic landscapes. They often grew in dense stands and occupied both dry and moist habitats. Their tough, fibrous leaves demanded specialized herbivory strategies, thereby influencing the evolution of dinosaur dentition and digestion. Cycads' seeds were often large and nutritious, representing critical energy sources for many herbivores. Ginkgos, a group known today only by their resilient modern survivors, thrived during the Jurassic period. Ginkgos, characterized by broad, fan-shaped leaves, contributed to forest diversity. They are considered living fossils, providing a direct botanical link to Jurassic flora in modern times. Ferns and horsetails, ancient vascular plants, flourished as ground cover and in wetlands. Massive tree ferns and smaller fern species carpeted floodplains and shaded understories, often favoring wetter, swamp-like environments. Their rapid growth and prolific spore production enabled quick colonization of disturbed areas, playing a vital role in succession and nutrient cycling. The interplay among these plants profoundly influenced Jurassic ecosystems. The vast amounts of vegetative biomass supported large digestive systems in herbivorous dinosaurs, which in turn impacted the structure and regeneration of forests and grass-like fern prairies. These herbivores browsing high canopies or stripping undergrowth triggered cycles of plant growth, dispersal, and adaptation. Plant reproduction, too, shaped the environment. Without flowers, Jurassic plants relied on cones, spores, and wind for reproduction. This affected the distribution of plant communities and their ability to withstand environmental challenges like droughts or changes in soil composition. Furthermore, the relationship between Jurassic flora and fauna extended beyond mere feeding. Plants provided shelter and breeding sites. For example, dense coniferous forests offered cover to juvenile dinosaurs from predators, while giant cycads might have served as nesting sites. Insects, which were becoming increasingly diverse, pollinated some plants and helped decompose organic matter, fostering a balanced ecosystem. The Jurassic flora also set the stage for the evolution of subsequent plant life. By establishing complex forest ecosystems and soil profiles, Jurassic plants paved the way for the rise of flowering plants in the Cretaceous, which would revolutionize terrestrial ecosystems. Studying the Jurassic flora not only enhances our understanding of prehistoric ecosystems, but also highlights the intricate connections between plants and animals that have persisted through time. The towering sauropods and their contemporaries were sustained by this verdant world, one of warmth, resilience, and diversity, that fed and shaped the giants of the Jurassic. As we continue, we will explore the survival strategies that dinosaurs and other animals developed to cope with the challenges of their environment, including migration, nocturnal habits, and burrowing, uncovering more about how life thrived in this ancient and ever-changing world. The Jurassic world, vast and ever-changing, presented a multitude of survival challenges to its inhabitants. From the immense sauropods to the smallest mammals, the pressures of predation, competition, climate fluctuations, and resource scarcity all demanded innovative adaptations. Among the most critical survival strategies employed by Jurassic creatures were migration, nocturnal habits, and burrowing, behaviors that enabled them to endure environmental stresses, evade predators, and optimize resource use through time and space. Migration emerges as a fascinating lifeway strategy, particularly among large herbivorous dinosaurs. Seasonal changes in available food and water, driven by monsoonal climates or periodic droughts, likely compelled many sauropods and ornithischians to undertake long-distance migrations. Though direct evidence for extensive migrations in Jurassic dinosaurs is limited compared to later periods, fossil trackways and bone beds provide clues of group movements following seasonal patterns. These migrations would have involved moving herds traveling between feeding grounds, nesting sites, and watering holes to maximize survival and reproductive success. The capacity for migration illustrates not only physical endurance, but also intricate behavioral and possibly social coordination. Navigating vast territories would require an understanding of landscape features, routes to avoid hazards, and perhaps communication among group members to maintain cohesion. Migration afforded advantages such as avoiding depleted or drought-stricken areas, exploiting seasonal plant growth bursts, and escaping predatory hotspots. Nocturnality, the adaptation to active life during nighttime hours, offered another prominent survival pathway, especially for smaller species vulnerable to daytime predators. Early mammals, small theropods, and some ornithischian dinosaurs likely adopted nocturnal or crepuscular, twilight habits, utilizing the cover of darkness to forage and move with reduced risk. Enhanced sensory adaptations, such as acute hearing, olfaction, and possibly vision optimized for low-light conditions, would have supported this lifestyle. Nocturnal habits also mitigated competition by partitioning time-based ecological niches. Species active at night avoided direct competition with diurnal counterparts for food and shelter. Additionally, cooler nighttime temperatures decreased stress from daytime heat, beneficial in the relatively warm Jurassic climate. The nocturnal existence of early mammals set a behavioral precedent that facilitated their survival through eras dominated by reptiles and dinosaurs. Burrowing represents a highly effective survival strategy, offering refuge from predators, climatic extremes, and environmental disturbances. Though direct fossil evidence of dinosaur burrows in the Jurassic is sparse compared to the Cretaceous, some small mammals and reptiles are believed to have exploited subterranean habitats. Burrows provided shelter during harsh weather, protected nests, and enabled escape routes from predators. The construction and maintenance of burrows required anatomical and behavioral adaptations such as strong forelimbs and digging claws, efficient respiration for underground living, and the ability to navigate confined spaces. Living underground also influenced thermoregulation, allowing animals to maintain stable body temperatures despite external fluctuations. Combined, migration, nocturnal activity, and burrowing represent versatile strategies to mitigate environmental pressures. In the face of dynamic climates marked by periods of drought, temperature shifts, and volatile landscapes shaped by tectonic forces and volcanic activity, These behaviors enhanced the resilience and adaptability of Jurassic fauna. Moreover, these survival strategies shaped evolutionary pathways. Species adopting nocturnality and burrowing could avoid direct competition and predation, fostering the diversification of mammals and small reptiles. Migratory behavior influenced social structures and reproductive success, potentially driving the development of herding and other social interactions. Together, these strategies underscore the profound interplay between behavior, physiology, and environment in the story of life. They reveal that survival was not solely determined by size or strength, but also by the ability to adapt temporally and spatially to a complex and changing world. As we continue our exploration, we will examine the dynamic predator-prey relationships of the Jurassic, how hunting and escape tactics evolved in a perpetual arms race, shaping the lives of dinosaurs and their contemporaries amidst an ancient world of magnificent wonder and constant challenge. Predator-prey dynamics during the Jurassic period were complex and essential drivers of evolutionary change, shaping not only the physical traits, but also the behaviors of both hunters and their quarry. The continuous struggle between predatory theropods and herbivorous dinosaurs fostered adaptations aimed at enhancing hunting success or avoiding death, resulting in a fascinating ecological dance that governed life across Jurassic landscapes. Theropod dinosaurs, the primary carnivores of the era, evolved a suite of anatomical features that made them formidable hunters. Their sharp, serrated teeth were adapted for slicing flesh, while powerful jaws and neck muscles enabled them to deliver killing bites. Clawed hands and feet aided in grasping and subduing prey, and keen senses such as sight and smell helped detect victims. Their bipedal posture and lightweight skeletons afforded surprising speed and agility, allowing pursuit or ambush strategies. Large theropods like Allosaurus were apex predators, capable of tackling enormous prey, including even the giant sauropods that shared their world. Hunting strategies varied among theropods. Some employed ambush tactics, using forest cover or terrain advantages to surprise prey. Others may have engaged in active pursuit, relying on bursts of speed and endurance. Evidence from fossilized footprints and bone beds sometimes suggests cooperative hunting behavior, where groups could coordinate attacks, increasing efficiency and expanding prey options. Though direct proof is limited and debated, these possibilities indicate behavioral complexity. On the other side, herbivorous dinosaurs developed defensive adaptations crucial for escape and survival. Physical features such as armor plates, spiked tails, horns, and sheer body size functioned as deterrents or weapons against predators. Stegosaurus, for instance, wielded its iconic tail spikes to defend itself, while sauropods relied on massive bulk and possibly protective herding behavior. Speed and agility were vital for many herbivores. Smaller ornithopods and juvenile dinosaurs often depended on quick reflexes and rapid flight to evade capture. Their limb structure and musculature reflect adaptations for swift running and maneuverability through complex terrain. Sight and awareness were critical as well. Many herbivores had wide-set eyes, providing panoramic vision to detect predators early. Some likely relied on social behaviors, moving in herds or groups to reduce individual risk and increase collective vigilance. Predator-prey interactions in the Jurassic were not merely violent confrontations, but complex behavioral exchanges. Predators balanced energy expenditure with risk, choosing prey based on size, vulnerability, and opportunity. Prey animals engaged in constant vigilance, utilizing camouflage, alarm calls, and escape routes. Fossil evidence reveals injuries healed during life, indicating animals often survived attacks, suggesting both sides were well matched in their ongoing evolutionary arms race. The constant pressure encouraged refinement of hunting techniques and defensive countermeasures. Additionally, environmental factors, such as landscape, vegetation density, and water availability, shaped these dynamics. Dense forests provided cover for both predator and prey, altering visibility and movement, while open plains favored endurance running and pursuit. Overall, the predator-prey dynamics of the Jurassic were a driving force behind the diversity and specialization of dinosaurs. Each adaptation, behavior, and ecological interaction reflects millions of years of evolutionary interplay, where the success of life depended on the delicate balance between hunter and hunted. Our exploration continues into the forces that periodically disrupted Jurassic life. Mass death events triggered by droughts, wildfires, and volcanic activity, reminding us of the ever-present vulnerability amid the grandeur of these ancient times. Throughout the Jurassic period, life on Earth unfolded against a backdrop of formidable natural forces that frequently disrupted ecosystems on scales both local and global. Mass death events, sudden and sweeping episodes of widespread mortality, were recurring phenomena, often triggered by environmental catastrophes such as prolonged droughts, devastating wildfires, and intense volcanic activity. These events profoundly affected the diversity, distribution, and evolutionary trajectory of dinosaurs and other prehistoric life, underscoring the delicate balance between flourishing ecosystems and the harsh realities of a volatile planet. Droughts in the Jurassic likely emerged from shifts in climate patterns, possibly influenced by the arrangement and slow drift of continents, fluctuating sea levels, and oscillations in atmospheric chemistry. These episodes of reduced rainfall and water scarcity could stretch over extended periods, leading to the desiccation of lakes, rivers, and wetlands, the vital lifeblood for herbivorous dinosaurs and countless other species. During such prolonged dry spells, vegetation would have suffered substantial stress, leading to diminished food supplies for herbivores. This scarcity inevitably cascaded through food webs, increasing competition and mortality rates. Fossils found within sedimentary deposits reveal assemblages dominated by weakened or juvenile individuals, suggesting populations experiencing severe duress. The loss of plant cover also exposed soil surfaces to erosion, further degrading habitats. Wildfires emerged as both a natural consequence and catalyst within these dry conditions. The abundance of combustible plant material combined with dry spells turned Jurassic forests and prairies into tinderboxes. Lightning strikes, volcanic eruptions, or spontaneous combustion could ignite vast fires that swept relentlessly, consuming vegetation, killing animals unable to flee, and reshaping landscapes. Charcoal layers preserved in rock strata provide convincing evidence for such extensive wildfire activity during the Jurassic epoch. These fires created a mosaic of burned and recovering areas, influencing plant succession dynamics and opening new ecological niches. Though destructive, wildfires played a paradoxical role by clearing old growth and facilitating the germination of fire-adapted plants, contributing to ecological renewal over longer timescales. Volcanic activity was another potent driver behind mass mortality events. The Jurassic period coincided with significant tectonic movements as the supercontinent Pangaea began to rift apart, leading to widespread volcanic eruptions. These volcanic episodes released enormous volumes of ash, gases like sulfur dioxide, and greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Ash fallout could blanket vast regions, suffocating plant life and contaminating water sources. The release of gases not only contributed to global warming, but also acid rain, impacting ecosystems from the tallest forests to the smallest ponds. The combined effects of reduced sunlight, temperature fluctuations, and toxic environments posed lethal challenges for many organisms. The fossil record sometimes preserves abrupt, extensive die-offs within sedimentary layers associated with volcanic deposits, indicating rapid population collapses. Such mass death assemblages provide snapshots of life amid crisis, offering critical insights into the resilience and vulnerability of Jurassic ecosystems. Together, droughts, wildfires, and volcanic activity formed intertwined natural hazards that punctuated the Jurassic's evolutionary narrative. They forced sudden reshuffling of ecological communities, driving extinction for some species while creating opportunities for others to adapt, diversify, or colonize newly available niches. These environmental stressors stimulated evolutionary innovations, such as improved respiratory systems to cope with polluted air, changed reproductive strategies to maximize offspring survival during turbulent times, or shifts in migratory and behavioral patterns to evade periodic hazards. Moreover, mass death events remind us that survival in the Jurassic was not simply a matter of biological fitness, but also of navigating a world inherently shaped by geological and climatic upheavals. The episodic nature of these catastrophes added layers of complexity to the ongoing arms race between predator and prey. Resilience and vulnerability, stability and change. As we move forward, the story of adaptation to environmental stress unfolds further, revealing how Jurassic life evolved in response to these challenges with remarkable ingenuity and determination, paving the way toward the dramatic evolutionary pathways of the Cretaceous period. The Jurassic period, rich with dynamic ecosystems and majestic creatures, was marked not only by flourishing life, but also by relentless environmental challenges. These pressures initiated an evolutionary arms race, a continuous cycle of adaptation and counter-adaptation between competing species and ever-changing environmental stressors. Understanding this arms race reveals how dinosaurs and other organisms evolved remarkable strategies to survive and thrive amid the trials of their time. Environmental stress during the Jurassic stemmed from several sources: fluctuating climates, periodic droughts and wildfires, volcanic eruptions, shifting landscapes, and ecological competition. These challenges demanded that species become ever more resilient, efficient, and innovative to maintain their survival. The evolutionary arms race is a biological contest where prey and predators, competitors, and even plants and herbivores constantly evolve in response to each other's adaptations. For instance, as carnivorous theropods developed sharper teeth and more powerful jaws, herbivorous dinosaurs enhanced their defenses through armor plating, horns, spikes, and behavioral strategies such as herding. This reciprocal enhancement showcases the intricate cat-and-mouse dynamic fueling diversity. Physiological adaptations helped dinosaurs withstand environmental extremes. Some developed more efficient respiratory systems to cope with thick, possibly polluted atmospheres from volcanic gases, enabling sustained high-energy activity. Others evolved metabolic pathways that allowed them to better regulate body temperature amid climatic fluctuations, traits hinting at a transition toward endothermy, or warm-bloodedness. Behavioral shifts also played crucial roles. Migration arose as a strategy to escape seasonal resource scarcity or unfavorable conditions, while nocturnality offered a refuge from daytime heat or predation. Burrowing behaviors, more common among small mammals and reptiles, allowed for protection during harsh weather or predatory threats. Plants, too, participated in this arms race. Gymnosperms developed tough needles and toxic compounds to deter overbrowsing, compelling herbivorous dinosaurs to adapt specialized teeth and digestive systems. The web of life was a complex interplay of defenses and counter-defenses. Geological forces contributed to this evolutionary dance. Continental drift altered habitats and climate, forcing species to adapt to new vacancies or pressures. Volcanic activity and mass death events caused punctuated moments of population turnover, accelerating natural selection and encouraging rapid adaptations. The fossil record provides glimpses into this relentless struggle. Injuries in dinosaur bones demonstrate combat and predator-prey encounters. Variations in morphology within species reflect adaptation to local conditions and predation pressures. Ultimately, the Jurassic evolutionary arms race was a testament to life's resilience and ingenuity. It crafted a world where survival hinged on continuous innovation. Organisms that could swiftly respond to threats, exploit new opportunities, and outwit challengers carved their path forward. As the Jurassic gave way to the Cretaceous, these relentless pressures set the stage for unprecedented diversification and complexity. In the chapters ahead, the legacy of these adaptations will unfold, revealing how life's ceaseless contest shapes the drama of evolution across deep time. The Jurassic seas were a realm of extraordinary diversity and dynamic evolution, hosting an array of marine reptiles and the fascinating flying pterosaurs that soared above them. While the terrestrial world was dominated by the vast dinosaurs, the oceans and skies carved their own chapters of prehistoric splendor. Understanding the lives of these aquatic and aerial reptiles reveals a complex and interconnected ecosystem that thrived alongside the giant beasts of land, showcasing the remarkable reach of Jurassic life. Marine reptiles were among the most iconic inhabitants of Jurassic seas. Groups like ichthyosaurs and plesiosaurs dominated aquatic environments, each presenting unique adaptations suited to their respective niches. Ichthyosaurs, dolphin-like reptiles, evolved streamlined bodies, long snouts filled with sharp teeth, and powerful tails for swift swimming. Their physiology, featuring large eyes for deep or dimly lit waters and lungs adapted for prolonged diving, made them apex predators of the oceans. Some species reached impressive sizes, rivaling modern whales. Plesiosaurs, by contrast, possessed broad, flat bodies with large flippers, enabling graceful, undulating movement through water. They typically had elongated necks, sometimes extremely so, and small heads, enabling them to snap up fish and cephalopods with quick, precise strikes. Variations within the plesiosaur clade ranged from the long-necked forms to the more robust, short-necked pliosaurs, the latter being powerful marine predators. Another important group was the marine crocodilians and thalattosaurs, semi-aquatic or fully marine reptiles that occupied diverse ecological roles. These reptiles contributed to the complexity of the Jurassic marine food webs, preying on fish, mollusks, and smaller reptiles. In addition to marine reptiles, pterosaurs soared above the Jurassic waters and landscapes, representing the first vertebrates to achieve true flight. These flying reptiles ranged from small, delicate species to huge forms with wingspans exceeding 10 meters. Their wings, formed by membranes stretched over elongated fourth fingers, allowed them to glide, maneuver, and possibly engage in powered flight. Many pterosaurs are thought to have fished by skimming or diving into the sea, supplementing their diets with fish, crustaceans, and perhaps small terrestrial prey. Pterosaurs exhibited a wide variety of shapes and sizes, including species with elaborate crests used for display or aerodynamic purposes. Their fossils, now found worldwide, reveal ecological diversity that paralleled the complexity seen in terrestrial dinosaurs. Some members of this group specialized for coastal habitats, nesting on cliffs and beaches. The interplay between marine reptiles and pterosaurs contributed to evolutionary pressures akin to predator-prey relationships on land. For instance, swift ichthyosaurs and plesiosaurs had to evade each other's predation or compete for fish stocks. Similarly, large pterosaurs might have competed with marine reptiles for near-surface prey. Their fossil remains, often exquisitely preserved in Lagerstätten deposits such as the Solnhofen limestone of Germany, provide detailed anatomical insights. Soft tissue impressions, wing membranes, and skin textures have been discovered, allowing scientists to reconstruct their appearances, flight capabilities, and lifestyle habits with unprecedented clarity. The Jurassic seas and skies, though vastly different from terrestrial realms, shared many ecological themes: complex food webs, evolutionary arms races, and adaptive radiations. They remind us that life's diversity is spread across all habitats, continuously responding to changing environmental conditions and biotic interactions. As our exploration of the Jurassic continues, we will witness the gradual reshaping of landscapes, from rivers and forests to deserts, and how these changing environments influenced the continuing saga of dinosaur life and survival. The dynamic landscapes forged the arenas in which these ancient creatures lived, competed, and evolved, setting the stage for dramatic transformations yet to come. The Jurassic period was a time of remarkable geological and ecological transformation, where Earth's landscapes were in flux, continuously reshaped by tectonic forces, climate fluctuations, and the relentless passage of time. Changing landscapes such as rivers carving new valleys, vast forested expanses spreading across continents, and arid deserts forming in continental interiors created a rich variety of habitats. These shifting environments profoundly influenced the diversity, behavior, and evolution of dinosaurs and other prehistoric life. Rivers and floodplains were among the most dynamic landscapes during the Jurassic. Fed by rainfall and glacial meltwaters, these waterways carved intricate networks across the land, creating fertile floodplains and deltas. The alluvial soils deposited by seasonal floods were rich in nutrients, fostering lush vegetation and supporting a diversity of plant life, from towering conifers to sprawling ferns and horsetails. These areas became magnets for herbivorous dinosaurs, such as sauropods, stegosaurs, and early ornithopods, providing a steady supply of food and water. River systems not only shaped the physical landscape, but also served as vital corridors for migration and dispersal. Dinosaur trackways along ancient riverbanks reveal that many species used these routes in seasonal migrations to access fresh feeding grounds or safer nesting sites. However, these riparian zones also posed hazards. Flash floods, shifting river channels, and predator ambushes were constant threats, making these regions arenas of both opportunity and danger. Forests covered significant portions of the Jurassic continents, characterized predominantly by gymnosperm flora, including vast coniferous woodlands, cycad groves, and ginkgo stands. These forests varied in density and structure, from dense, humid woodlands with multiple canopy layers to more open, park-like settings. Forests provided shelter from predators, breeding sites, and microclimates that regulated temperature and humidity. Within these forests, a mesmerizing diversity of dinosaur life thrived. Large herbivores browsed the mid and upper canopy layers, while smaller species exploited the understory and forest floor. Predatory theropods likewise hunted within these woodlands, using the cover for stalking prey. Forest dynamics were influenced by factors such as fire regimes, wind disturbances, and disease, which created a patchwork of habitats at different successional stages, further increasing ecological complexity. Deserts and semi-arid regions occupied extensive interior continental areas, formed largely due to the massive size of continents like Pangaea, which created rain shadows and limited moisture penetration. These deserts featured sand dunes, salt flats, ephemeral lakes, and sparse vegetation dominated by drought-tolerant plants like cycads and certain conifers. Despite their harshness, these arid zones supported specialized dinosaur species adapted to scarce water and fluctuating temperatures. Some small ornithischians and theropods evolved behaviors and physiologies to conserve water, avoid heat stress, and cope with limited food supply. Seasonal migrations often led dinosaurs to these areas during favorable periods, while droughts could force retreats to more hospitable habitats. The interactions between these varied landscapes, rivers, forests, and deserts, created a dynamic ecological mosaic. Boundaries between these habitats often shifted due to climatic oscillations and tectonic activity, causing species to adapt or relocate. Such environmental variability was a significant evolutionary driver. Volcanic activity, frequently accompanying tectonic shifts, periodically reshaped landscapes by depositing fertile ash or altering drainage patterns, influencing plant growth and animal distributions. Mountain building raised new ranges that influenced climate and acted as physical barriers, promoting species diversification through geographic isolation. Collectively, these changing landscapes offered not only challenges, but also opportunities, new niches to exploit, niches to defend, and ecological networks to forge. The varied habitats carved by rivers, forests, and deserts structured the lives of Jurassic organisms and framed the evolutionary story of the age. Advancing from these geological and ecological transformations, the next focus of our exploration examines the mysterious disappearances and extinction events that punctuated the Jurassic timeline, enigmatic episodes that remind us of life's fragility amid Earth's restless forces. The Jurassic period, often celebrated as a time of flourishing life and diversification among dinosaurs and other prehistoric organisms, was nonetheless punctuated by a series of mysterious extinction events. While not as catastrophic as the mass extinctions marking the boundaries between geologic periods, these episodic disappearances profoundly influenced the evolutionary pathways of organisms, reshaped ecosystems, and reset the stage for subsequent bursts of diversification. Understanding the nature and causes of these Jurassic extinction events offers valuable insights into the fragility and resilience of life amid changing planetary forces. The fossil record reveals several intervals during the Jurassic where sudden declines in species diversity occurred, often followed by a recovery phase marked by the rise of new clades or changes in dominant groups. These events were not globally synchronous, but tended to affect specific regions or ecosystems, indicating localized environmental stresses as well as broader global phenomena. One such notable event occurred near the Triassic-Jurassic boundary, just before the Jurassic proper, where massive volcanic activity associated with the Central Atlantic magmatic province caused rapid environmental upheaval. This event wiped out numerous species and permitted dinosaurs to rise as dominant terrestrial vertebrates. Throughout the Jurassic, smaller-scale extinction pulses followed, some linked to changes in sea level, climate swings, and oceanic anoxic events. Periods when oceans depleted in oxygen led to widespread marine die-offs. In the marine realm, ammonites, a group of mollusks iconic in Jurassic seas, experienced repeated faunal turnovers often coinciding with oceanic and climatic fluctuations. Similarly, marine reptiles such as certain ichthyosaur and plesiosaur lineages faced population declines and extinctions, likely driven by alterations in prey availability and habitat changes resulting from shifting sea levels. Terrestrial ecosystems also felt the impact. Some dinosaur groups, including certain early theropods and herbivores, experienced declines or disappearances in specific regions. The causes remain under investigation, but may involve habitat fragmentation, climatic stresses, or competition with emerging groups. Intriguingly, some dinosaur taxa suddenly vanish from the record without clear preceding signs, hinting at the possibility of rapid ecological disruptions. Volcanism and plate tectonics were significant drivers behind many Jurassic extinction intervals. The breakup of Pangaea led to changing ocean currents, climate zones, and atmospheric compositions. These factors often induced environmental stresses such as temperature shifts, altered rainfall patterns, and soil degradation. Additional episodic stressors, including wildfires and droughts, likely compounded extinction dynamics. Fossil sites containing mass death assemblages suggest that sudden environmental perturbations, like volcanic ash storms or prolonged aridity, caused rapid population collapses. It is important to note that extinction events are not solely destructive. They play a crucial evolutionary role by eliminating weaker or less adaptable species, thereby opening ecological niches for survivors and new lineages to diversify. The Jurassic extinction episodes contributed to the rise of iconic groups such as large sauropods and advanced theropods, which would dominate terrestrial ecosystems in the following periods. Despite progress in paleontological techniques, many mysteries surrounding Jurassic extinctions remain. Precise dating, understanding of regional versus global effects, and identification of intricate causative factors continue to challenge researchers. Emerging technologies like isotopic analyses, sedimentology, and high-resolution stratigraphy promise to illuminate these enigmatic events further. In summary, the mysterious disappearances and extinction pulses within the Jurassic paint a picture of life, enduring persistent upheavals. These episodes underscore the delicate balance between survival and extinction, highlighting that even during times of evolutionary prosperity, life was continually tested by Earth's dynamic systems. As we proceed, we will examine how these Jurassic legacies influenced evolutionary trajectories leading into the Cretaceous period, laying the groundwork for future chapters in Earth's profound and ongoing story. As the Jurassic period drew to a close around 145 million years ago, it left behind a profound legacy that would shape the evolutionary trajectories of the Mesozoic era and the future of life on Earth. This era of dynamic diversification, environmental transformation, and biological innovation served as a crucial bridge towards the Cretaceous period, a time famed for even greater dinosaur diversity, the rise of flowering plants, and the complex ecosystems that ultimately set the stage for modern biodiversity. The evolutionary pathways forged during the Jurassic were marked by the continued expansion and specialization of dinosaur lineages that had first burgeoned in earlier periods. Sauropods, which had grown into the giants of the Jurassic, continued evolving in both size and diversity, giving rise to new families that would dominate Cretaceous landscapes. Their evolutionary adaptations in respiratory efficiency, gigantism, and feeding strategies exemplify how Jurassic innovations had lasting impacts. Theropod dinosaurs, including the crowning Allosaurids and early relatives of Tyrannosaurids, refined their predatory capabilities, setting evolutionary trends toward advanced hunting techniques and complex behaviors. The emergence of feathered theropods during the late Jurassic suggests the dawn of new thermoregulatory and display adaptations, influencing both survival and social interaction. Herbivorous lineages also laid vital foundations during the Jurassic. The stegosaurs and early ankylosaurs, with their armor, developed defensive traits that became more elaborate and effective in the Cretaceous. Ornithopods diversified into more efficient grazers and browsers, presaging the hadrosaur's success in the following era. Beyond dinosaurs, the Jurassic nurtured the early radiation of mammals, pterosaurs, and numerous other reptiles whose evolutionary journey further enriched Cretaceous faunas. Mammals, though small and largely nocturnal, experimented with new ecological roles that would dramatically expand over millions of years. The Jurassic's geological and climatic transformations, the breakup of Pangaea into smaller continents, shifts in ocean currents and climate gradients, set the biogeographic stage for the isolation and divergence of species. These processes promoted speciation through geographic isolation, driving regional diversity that characterized the Cretaceous period. Furthermore, the Jurassic period's stable yet gradually shifting ecosystems allowed the rise of more complex food webs and community structures. Ecological interactions matured between herbivores and carnivores, plants and animals, and terrestrial and marine realms, fostering evolutionary pressures that sculpted anatomical and behavioral innovations. Importantly, the evolutionary trends from the Jurassic illustrate a narrative of resilience and adaptation against a backdrop of environmental challenges, mass extinctions, and competition, a narrative that resonates as life's fundamental theme. This legacy not only illuminates the Mesozoic dynamics, but also frames our understanding of how ancient processes yielded the Earth's breathtaking biological tapestry. As we turn finally to the enduring mysteries held within Jurassic fossils, we acknowledge the limits of our knowledge and the endless potential for discovery, as each fossil chronicle adds new chapters to the epic story of life. The story of the Jurassic period is as riveting as it is complex, yet despite centuries of scientific inquiry, many of its mysteries remain unresolved, waiting patiently beneath layers of stone. Fossils, the priceless remnants of ancient life, serve as our windows to that distant past, yet each discovery often raises as many questions as it answers. These enduring mysteries remind us of the vastness of life's history and the boundless capacity of nature for innovation and adaptation. One of the most tantalizing enigmas lies in the lives of many dinosaur species whose fossil records are incomplete or fragmentary. Numerous species are known from scant bones or teeth, leaving much to the imagination about their physiology, behavior, and ecological roles. Even well-studied dinosaurs like Stegosaurus and Allosaurus still yield surprises with each new finding, challenging previous assumptions about their anatomy, growth patterns, or social behavior. The question of dinosaur coloration and integument continues to captivate researchers. While exceptional fossil sites have preserved evidence of primitive feathers or skin textures in some species, the colors, patterns, and functions of these coverings are often speculative. Advances in molecular paleontology hold promise for unlocking pigments and structural colors, potentially revolutionizing our vision of what these creatures looked like. Fossilization itself is a rare and selective process, biased towards certain environments and organismal parts, which skews our understanding of Jurassic biodiversity. For example, soft tissues, delicate organs, and behavioral imprints are scarcely preserved but essential for a holistic interpretation of prehistoric life. The search for exceptional preservation sites continues as scientists develop new technologies to detect hidden fossilized soft tissues. Moreover, the precise timings and causes of many Jurassic extinction events remain subjects of active debate. Untangling the interplay of volcanic activity, climate change, sea level fluctuations, and biotic interactions requires multidisciplinary approaches combining geology, chemistry, and biology. Questions about dinosaur reproduction and development also endure. Evidence for parental care, growth rates, and juvenile ecology is growing, yet many aspects of dinosaur life history await clarification. How did different species raise their young? What were their social structures beyond nesting colonies? How did these factors influence survival and evolutionary success? The origin and evolution of feathers and flight occupy another intriguing frontier. While the early origins of feathers trace back to at least the late Jurassic, understanding their initial functions, insulation, display, or aerodynamics, and the precise pathways leading to powered flight continues to fuel research and lively scientific discussion. Even the role of early mammals and their interactions with dominant dinosaur faunas remain partially obscured. Unraveling the subtleties of their cohabitation, competition, and influence on ecosystems offers valuable perspectives on the foundations of mammalian evolution. Finally, technological innovations such as computed tomography, CT scans, isotopic analyses, and molecular studies are increasingly unlocking fossil secrets, allowing scientists to probe anatomy, behavior, and paleo-environments without destructive sampling. These methods are bridging gaps between hard fossil structures and the dynamic lives of ancient organisms. In essence, the fossils of the Jurassic remain both invaluable archives and puzzles, guardians of secrets that continuously refine our understanding of Earth's deep past. Their lessons stretch beyond the age of dinosaurs, touching upon fundamental principles of evolution, extinction, and adaptation. As each new fossil is uncovered and studied, we gain not only scientific knowledge, but also a richer appreciation for the intricate tapestry of life, the forces that shaped it, and the enduring connection between past and present. The Jurassic's mysteries beckon us forward, inspiring curiosity and discovery in an ever-unfolding journey through time.